Good evening, everyone. How are you guys? Gabs here, What's in the Glass, Digital Beer Streams. Welcome. I hope you guys well. I hope you're having a good time. If you're at home, if you're traveling, wherever you are. My name is Gabs. I'm a beer guy based in London. I've been working in the industry from 10 years. I try to be the best beer communicator I can. And doing that, I really like to go live and meeting beautiful people from this industry, beautiful platforms like this one that you see right now. This is called the Digital Beer Streams. And the Digital Beer Stream is basically an exclusive digital broadcasting show where we are, engaging and meeting the people from this industry. Could be the hospitality, could be the beer industry, could be the, generic brewing industry. And, we're trying to understand how they're doing, how has been their life, the situation so far for the bar they're working for, the brewing. And it's always pretty interesting to hear, especially in these days, what the situation is. If you're not super familiar with the brewing industry and the beer industry in general, we're talking about one of the most, interesting and industry out there. The reason is very simple. We also around the beautiful element that beer is, but we also very big cohesion kind of community where diversity is not a thing. We're trying to hang out in beautiful places like pubs. Do you remember what pubs are? You're going to remember very soon what pubs are because they're coming back. So this is about our passion, where it's coming from. And I've been working on different projects within the What's in the Glass umbrella and Digital Beer Streams, this platform, and Turning the Tide, which is another show that is coming out soon. We've been around between the lockdowns around pubs in London, listening the stories of some of the best boozers around London, and it'd be very interesting. And check it out because it's gonna go out on YouTube probably at the beginning of the next month. So please check it out. And when we're talking about the beer industry and the brewery industry, especially in London, as I said, we are a big family. And the reason is because we meet each other in festivals, we meet each other at events, we go and visiting each other breweries, each other tap rooms, I said. And, we always want to try new beers, beautiful new beers like this one that Sarah's going to tell us a bit more shortly. Beautiful beers like this one as well, like she's going to tell us shortly what it's all about. And if you're not familiar, shame on you, with Orbit beers. Orbit is one of the most consistent brewery in London. They are based in Walworth, which is just like Southeast London. And Sarah is just literally a legend. I probably don't know anyone within the craft beer industry in London that doesn't know her. And the fan is because she's genuine. Because she's just like super passionate, and she is a powerhouse of enthusiasm and knowledge in this industry and many other things. She's looking after sales, so she's the head of sales of Orbit, and she's also a DJ, and she's also a very cool person. So if you would like to helping to welcome her right now on the stream, it'd be a pleasure to have her here. Yeah.
Hello. Hi. My God, what an intro, Gab.
Yeah, I'm an intro specialist.
So good to see your face virtually.
My pleasure. Finally. It's been too long, I'm telling you. How are you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good. How have you been?
Try to be busy. Try to don't shut up for a second. And it turns out that I can really do that well, Never stop talking.
Yeah, I mean, what you've been doing has been incredible, really. With What's in the Glass, Turning the Tide. Yeah, I think it's fantastic that you've really, not kind of hibernated in lockdown and just kind of really pushed out there and, this lovely industry that we work in. And you've really kind of like championed a lot of like unheard of breweries or people in the industry that might not have had the recognition. And yeah, cheers to that.
My cheers to you. You've been inspiring me since day one. I still have emails that we were in contact before actually working in fully in beer. I was probably behind the bar, and you were working a different sector at that time. Yeah. And it's a very professional email. I love this so much. 2015, probably. I'm telling you.
Yeah, probably around that time. No, probably before, slightly before, maybe.
It could be slightly before. You're
I
right.
used to be in recruitment. Pardon?
Yep. I remember the email. Your recruitment. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I spoke to you. I think there was a job that I thought you would be fantastic for, because I used to work for recruitment for the drinks industry, and in particular craft beer. Yeah, so that's how we met. And we've obviously known each other since.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
and
Fred.
I remember beautiful, as you were saying before, Imbibe Live, where we went together and we spent our beautiful evening, which was pretty boozy probably at the end.
Yeah, I remember the train journey home, and I think you just started with London Fields.
Correct.
And I think you were quite worried about the role, and like what, it was quite a new thing for you, like the brand ambassador thing. But you smashed it. And you're still there. Again.
Yeah, but hey, as I said, it's like the beauty of meeting people like you is that it's just pushing the barrier up. You're meeting a lot of people in this industry, and I know most of the people are doing an incredible job, but then you managed to make Orbit even more on the radar, even more like the brewery that does have these interesting offer, but also like very accessible to people. I saw you when I was having some shift in Clapton Craft as well, or all the places, or even Mother Kelly's. I knew them when we're coming over. It was fun. Like bringing lights, and this is what people are looking for right now as well, and that's why it's so important to speak with you.
But do you know what though? I have to say, it's not just me that puts Orbit on the radar. Like, we've got a fantastic brew team, a fantastic team, and they're like a family, Yeah. And Robert, the owner, has been so supportive to all of us throughout this, and he's topped up our salaries and paid us all 100% throughout. He's been amazing for me. I know, like, thank you, Robert. Like, it's just a really lovely brewery to work for, and such a lovely family ethos. And, we all help each other and we all support each other. And I think that's so important.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if I think about how it's been my my entire period so far, as I said, I'm trying to be very busy on working on digital show and all of these kind of things. And you mentioned briefly when we were on the phone that you had quite a hell of a time, right? Don't want to go too much on the details, but thinking about how it could have been tough this period of time, you definitely had an intense time, I would say, right?
Yeah, I did. But I'm kind of thankful in a way that it happened when it did. Like, basically, I had a major op in September, and I was out of action for a good 2 months. And without the support of Orbit, and just Robbie as well, like being there for me, it was just fantastic. And it was like probably one of the lowest points of my life.
Wow.
But, all my friends were there, and like, I got through it, and I feel so thankful for the NHS. And this was when the hospitals were completely COVID free. So I was very lucky. I feel very lucky.
Yeah. Well, again, the fact that we all have our tough times, it definitely brings more expectation of we really want to have a great life going forward. We really want to celebrate every single day. We really want to make sure we are on a good path. And I like to start personally, but then I like to go a bit more into the situation and your job and everything. If you will have a brief description for Orbit, or introduction for the people watching us that maybe haven't met yet Orbit, could you give us a bit of intro on that, please?
Yeah, so basically we're coming up to our 7th year now. So we've been going 7 years. Our whole ethos is about quality and balance, and our core range is kind of a modern take on more European brewing styles, which we love. And that's why, as well, we're still in bottle. Obviously, everyone is moving to cans cans, but we love the bottle. We use these Vichy bottles, which are obviously a nod to the European breweries that use them. We love the feel of the bottle. You know, we deal with a lot of restaurants as well. And it's nice to be able to pour your beer into a glass when you sit down and eat a meal. And, you know, read a lot of the information on the side, because a lot of cans just have artwork and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And Orbit, I guess, like, we've come a long way since they started, but we've never tried to expand really quickly. We've always done it organically, which I think is a really good thing. And everyone that's kind of worked there has always stayed for a long time, which I think is like credit to Robert and Robbie for, you know, running the brewery as they do.
Yeah, 100%. I felt at home every time I came. Like, always, you and your team always let us, whoever I was with, Moritz, and then, you know, other people, then it always been like very, very nice to visit the place, and also to find out about the big cold room that you have outside the brewery, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So that's really exciting, because going on to that, actually, we hopefully are going to be expanding, like either later this year or next year. So we'll have a tap room, which is super exciting, in May. And we've got the Archers. You've been to the Archers, haven't you? So we've got the two under the railway, and then the road, Fielding Street, that separates it. And then we've got the other two Archers. So we'll have a tap room in one, a mezzanine level with like office and stuff. We'll have a whole cold storage and new brewery. So we'll like double the size. Wow. So that will be later on, but the tap room will be opening in hopefully May, like judging by COVID and the rules and everything else.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Very, very nice to hear. Okay. So this is a game changer as well, because, you know, when you manage to have an extra even level to attract the people in the area where you are, and making sure, you know, like, you know, is coming a destination, I see things happening very, very, very nice. And I saw as well, like, collaboration with, tell me if I'm wrong, Mondo sandwich. Is it something that I saw? Is it possible?
Oh, yeah. So basically Jack he's become like a really good friend now. So he used to run the White Horse in Peckham.
Okay.
And he's gone on to, you know, do other things. So he's got this thing called Mondo sandwiches. So every Friday from, I can't remember the name of the pub now that he does it from. So he delivers these sandwiches. So we've supported him by giving him beers for a prize, because he's hit 1K followers.
Nice.
Which is brilliant. So they'll get all these brilliant Orbit beers and free sandwiches to be able to enjoy later on next month, I guess, when you're allowed to mix in parks. But it's really nice to support local businesses, you know. Obviously we're a smallish brewery, and for us, like, supporting local, that's what the tap room will be. It'll be a local community tap room, and, you know, a destination place. Yep.
You know, with all the people I've had the pleasure to speak with, we spoke mostly about, you know, the operations within the brewery, the operations within the pub. And most of the time, where how much beer you're taking out, how much, you know, precautions you're taking if you're a pub. The beauty to speak with you as well today is the fact that could explore, even like briefly, just touch it, a bit of the sales science into the brewery whenever we're going to be able to reopen again and have our, you know, industry back. What does a salesperson right now exactly, you know, what's the plan, right? How are you spending your day? What is the conversation you're having with potential customers? What are you doing?
So at the moment, it's a lot of planning, and it's a lot of getting in touch with existing accounts and looking after your existing accounts that you do have, without trying to kind of get as many as you can on board. Like, if your existing accounts aren't looked after, then you're nothing as a brewery. Yeah. And I think for us, it's like touching base with them and, you know, seeing what support we can give them, and putting myself on call, you know, for them. So I don't mind if they want to message me at 11 at night. I don't care, you know. I don't just switch off at 6 o'clock and then that's it. And I think like planning ahead with the new tap room opening and everything else, I think it's going to be very exciting. I just read Justin's thing. And I think it's going to be really exciting when everything reopens. But I don't think it's going to be as manic probably as everyone thinks it's going to be, because I guess people are going to be more cautious now, and they're not going to put all their 10 lines on immediately. You know, they're probably going to take it a little bit slower. Yeah. But then who knows, you know?
Good point. I was amazed when I realized people were buying very expensive double IPAs in plastic glasses with a plastic shit on top of it. And I was just like, this can't happen. This is not UK in 2021, but it really was. Yeah. Really was. So,
yeah. I
very
think
interesting.
As well as like, oh, sorry. Go on.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, obviously, like, for us and a lot of other breweries, there's a lot more focus now on, like, the e-commerce and the packaged. And I think moving forward, there'll be a lot more, like, cook at home, sustainability, supporting independent businesses, shopping locally, drinking locally. So for us, there's, like, going to be, you know, we've done really well with, like, our bottles throughout the pandemic, because we've worked with like independent businesses like bottle shops and cafes and a lot of places that have kind of adapted throughout. And I think that will continue, and that's a really lovely avenue to have, because, you know, we were predominantly keg because we didn't have a web shop, which we have now got, and our amazing marketing manager Ollie runs it really well.
This is the beauty of it. You see, adaptation.
I just think, yeah, I mean, and being true to yourselves and true to the ethos of what you are as a brewery, and to continue that moving forwards, and always striving to improve what we do as well. The brewers have weekly tastings with the beers, so we'll always compare beers. They'll have a weekly sit down, they'll go through everything, they'll compare it to the last batch, what can we do better? We're always striving to improve, which I think, you know, is a brilliant thing.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm going to say something which maybe many people didn't think about, but I reckon the breweries then concentrate so much on making the best European style possible within the UK are going to have a very busy time, because especially with Brexit, it's going to be very hard to find some of these European beer styles as much as it used to be before. So I reckon Kolsch, I reckon, you know, Belgian Pale, things like that are gonna go pretty well over here. So Orbit, prepare for the storm, you know.
I think that's what kind of it is. I mean, I now mentioned it earlier, but the kind of modern nod to more European brewing styles, and the fact that our beers are, you know, obviously the dead wax is 5.5%, but they're and they're very drinkable. There's balance there. Yeah. So we brew beers that, you know, go really well with food. You know, you can obviously have them on their own, but also they pair really well with food. And that's why I think we do really well with restaurants. But shall we crack one open?
Hey, you know what? I'm here for it. Let's do it.
So what one do you want to go for first? Dead wax.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be lovely because it was quite a horrible day today. And this is this is just one of my favorite beers, like hands down anyway, even though I work for Orbit. So Paul, our head brewer, Paul Spraggett, he with For Pure, Weird Beard, and he joined us, and we used to have a beer in our core range called Noi, which was an alt beer that used to sit alongside the Nico really, really well. When Paul joined, I think it was like a few months into it, we took the decision, well, we wanted to do something different so we did this, which is the dead wax. and it's named after the Run Out area on a vinyl record, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's where something was clicking in my mind, but I wasn't sure, you know.
Yeah. Our logo as well is a spindle adapter. Oops, can you see that?
Yeah.
So that was Robert's earliest memory as a child. So his sister used to collect 7-inch records. And this beer in particular is a nod to our double brown stout that we did called 7, which was a nod to the 7-inch record. So it's really lovely that we can call it Dead Wax, which is after the Run Out area, because it all kind of fits together.
Yep.
It pours a lovely a lovely dark color, but it's kind of medium bodied. It's a very drinkable porter. So it was based on like the traditional London porters that not a lot of breweries do actually. They don't have this kind of beer in their core range.
Correct.
And on the nose, you get the malted milk biscuits, coffee, dark chocolate.
It's very gentle. It's a gentle rostiness. It's not too harsh. It's not like ashy. It's not any sort of that. It's just very nice and mellow. As I said, it's very like it's on this. It's on the line where the toffee and the coffee almost like, you know, getting the same kind of presence in it. I love it.
Yeah. So I get a lot of kind of treacle and the burnt sugars. Caramel I get a lot of. But it's not cloying in your mouth. Like, it's a very drinkable porter, which is what we wanted. And I think that sits lovely within our core range alongside beers.
For a full 5.5% porter, like, this is so drinkable, Like, I really can say, it's refreshing almost, you know, when you have porter that's hard, that kind of refresh kind of element is brilliant. And a touch of bitter coffee sourness. Cask. Yeah.
And actually the bitterness is not too overpowering. But can you imagine if we did cask and this on cask? That would be delicious.
I can die for it. Yeah.
But yeah.
Very well done. I really like it. I really think it's a really nice, brave choice to have a beer like this in the core range. Well done.
Thanks to Paul. Yeah.
Really well done.
No, brilliant.
And Sarah, what would I have to say to you as well? Like, it's interesting the way that you are capable to say, our way has been this. This is what Orbit is. This is what we are. This is how we're gonna do things. And despite the fact, you know, we had a very like incredible type of crisis within our industry, in our world, you keep saying, that's what we are. That's what we're gonna do. We wanna do our type of beers in the way that we're gonna do, and we're not listening too much about the hype. I love it. But you know, the people are gonna ask in here, what about IPA?
We don't. No, I mean, look, the thing is, like, our core range of beers are our core range. So we also have a series called our White Label series, which are the more experimental brews. So someone's saying, don't tease us with the idea of cask Dead Wax.
Is Chandru.
But yeah, the White Label series, they're the ones where we can get crazy and experimental and, you know, do stuff like the Tzatziki Sour or the Lichtenheiner, which we did, a Hefeweizen, which was incredible, you know. But it's still with that kind of nod to the European brewing styles, but we can get a bit crazy with it. And we'll still continue the white labels, which are fantastic. But the core range is meant to be drinkable, balanced, consistent, and, you know, really good quality.
Yep. And I remember in the previous live stream that we did this summer, the core of that live stream was beer and travel, you know, like how traveling into your team was so important for it.
So, I mean, when Robert started the brewery, he bought a camper van, called it Brian, and travelled all around Scotland and the Outer Hebrides, and went to every single brewery in Scotland before he opened Orbit. So travel, like, for him is like a big thing. And every year he takes us to somewhere in Europe, to a beer city. So last year we went to Prague. And then we did a Prague Pilsner, which was absolutely insanely amazing. The year before that, we went to Belgium. And then before that, we went to Cologne and Dusseldorf, which would bring us on to this lovely beer.
Wow, what a beer.
Which is our flagship beer. So when we went to Cologne, they basically, you go to these brew pubs and all they serve is one beer, which is a Kolsch.
Yep.
You're not allowed to call it a Kolsch in this country because it has to be brewed within 30 miles of Cologne. So it's called a Köln style lager. And it's warm fermenting with a top fermenting yeast. We use a WL. Let me have a look what we use. WLP 029. Which is a Kolsch, a German ale yeast. And then it's conditioned at cold temperatures like a lager.
Yep.
It's kind of a hybrid between an ale and a lager. And for me, like, this beer was like one of the first beers I had, like, before I joined Orbit. And that was kind of what made me want to join Orbit, along with the music side element of it. And I just think it's just the best Kolsch. Style lager in the UK for me. Anyway,
I always told you I probably was making the brewery being able to sell at least a keg, if not 1.5 or 2 kegs of Nico at the Mother Kelly's in E2 every week I was working there, because everyone were coming in. I was just like, you need to get this beer. You need to get this beer. You need to try it. So I know Nico quite well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you sold it, and then I think you were at Captain Craft after that as well.
Yep.
And it always all good on in there. It still does.
Sorry, mate. Have you got any good lagers in within your portfolio? Have you got anything good in this shop? Where it's like, yeah. You take Nico, and then you can choose the other ones, right?
Yeah. I just think it's just solid. It's consistent. It's so drinkable. You have one, and you want to have another, like, immediately. Yeah. So, have you cracked it? Do you want to crack yours?
Well, in terms of Nico, you want to make me mad tonight. I'm telling you.
Yeah, have you got one?
I do have. Just give me 1 second. I'm taking it. You need to say what Nico exactly is when you pour and everything. Just give me a second.
Okay. Cheers, everyone, while Gab's gone to get his Nico. Anyone who's tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, by the way.
I'm a promise to my miss I was going to run after this. I'm not going to run tonight, I'm telling you.
No, definitely not. So, in Cologne, when we went there, that was my first time to Cologne. And obviously I didn't know what to expect. But when you sit down, they give you a round beer mat, which they bring to you, and then he comes over, and the waiter, they're called coops, and they serve the beer in stange, called stange, the glasses, and they're like 20 cl glasses, and they have this big circular tray, and they have about 10 or 12 of these on there. They put it on your beer mat, and they put a little tick in pencil or pen on your beer mat. They don't ask you if you want any more. They just bring you another when you finish. So you've got like that much left. They'll just keep bringing it and keep bringing it until you put the beer mat on top of your glass to be like, I'm done.
Well, you know, if you forget to do it, you're in trouble.
Like a homage to... Yeah, I mean, we went to visit. So obviously Pafkin, which is... Well, this is named after Nico, so Velvet Underground and Nico. So Nico is Krista Pafkin, And her ancestors, I think Wilhelm, I think his name, her father was. I think they were part of the brewery Pafkin. And that's where the kind of name comes from. And the waiters, who are the Cobes, wear blue aprons.
There we go.
So yeah, this is Nico. Have a little whiff. I mean, you know this beer. Everyone should know this beer, right?
I know it, and I like every time to have on the nose more, like ale type of characters rather than, kind of a clean lager. And this is what I like. It's fruity. Yeah. It does have a touch of more interesting things going on, always.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get that, you get kind of pear drop from the Kolsch ale yeast, and you get that kind of residual sweetness when you taste it. And it's not overly carbonated, which means obviously you can have quite a few of these. I just think it's just an incredible beer. Perfect for summer, perfect for everything. Goes with everything.
But this is the fact, like the importance of giving drinkers, the capacity of learning new style of lagers, and through a beer which is, yes, a lager, but it's more interesting. There is more going on. It's always been a merit of your brewery, like Kolsch became famous in London because you made it, hands on.
Oh. And it was featured recently in Melissa Cole's little book of craft lager, which is really good.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's just a winner for me.
Yeah, just as I said, is the beauty of Orbit is always been is exactly exists within this beer. There is a beer that has been made in Germany and probably has been made there for, I don't know, like 300, 400 years or something like that. And that beer was drunk there, and people were pronouncing that name, Kolsch or Kolnstein, if you prefer, just there. Then you guys, with your curiosity, went there. You make it accessible. You make it 2020. You make it London, and it became the product. And it goes in people's house, in restaurants. It's brilliant. It's a beautiful story. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, good.
and
we love it. I mean, it's
Sarah,
a flagship.
I want to ask you something as well. Like, sorry if sometimes we have this problem of delay, but I'm trying to to speak easy and introduce the questions in the right way. And I haven't touched the fact that this is the month and the week especially of International Women's Day, and I've asked all our guests, and I will do it tomorrow for the rest of the month as well, how they felt within the industry, and how do you feel now? At what stage you think we are? You presented yourself as a salesperson. You're a woman, and you go to visit people, managers. Sometimes they're men, sometimes they're women. What's the vibe, the general vibe of our industry? Is it accessible?
For me, I've never had a problem, but for me, like I'm a northerner. I'm from Sheffield, and I kind of just get on with it and go. But I do think there is a lot of that in our industry, but I think it's getting better, and I think there are a lot more women in beer. But I think like the whole International Women's Day and what Natasha did with Crafty Beer Girls was fantastic. It was a whole hailing all the wonderful women in beer, and there's a lot of amazing, incredible women in beer. And craft beer is just a small kind of thing in the whole scheme of things in the brewing world. And I think that's amazing that there's so many incredible women, championing small breweries and, just moving forwards. I think it will be like a normal thing. International Women's Day should just be normal. We should just respect women anyway, because we're awesome.
Well, breweries where normally there are women in the sales team or in tap rooms, in the brewing team, always have something more. something different, but especially something more. And I think the more it's just like just a sense of larger things, and also the necessity of always doing better and more, and doing it for the sake of really end up to have a brilliant product, a brilliant experience, and a most human approach on things. And this is something that I really have to say is a merit, and before probably wasn't like that. And also I love the fact that men claim that this is their industry, this is their drink, and this is their liquid, when historically always been proved that this is not real, it's not reality.
Yeah. didn't back in the day, you know, years and years ago, wasn't it like witches? There was like a witcher thing, but like I think I saw it in Crafty Beer Girls, like they were the ones that started brewing. But yeah, I think like we have come a long way, and I think there's still a long way to go, but you know, I think what's wonderful about the craft beer industry in general, is that it is so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of breweries support each other, they're there for each other. And I think that happened a lot more during all 3 lockdowns as well. Keeping in touch with other breweries and, you know, what can we do to help? And there was a lot more of that happening. So I'd love to see that continue.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Sarah, like you've been working a lot with your local community, but you were working a lot with Central London pubs as well. Pubs that were making really, you know, our Friday, Saturday nights being awesome. And, you know, I've been around these pubs and interviewing them, checking them and listening, speaking with the managers and stuff. And I always wanted to understand, are they going to reopen? Are they going to be fine, even if everyone is going to keep working from home? And so the question is the future of our Central London pubs safe, or they are really in trouble, in your opinion?
I think it's going to take some time for things to become as they were, because I think people's mindset has changed throughout lockdown. The way they do things, the way they drink, the way they eat. I think as well, like a lot of people have lost their jobs, and there's been a lot of, you know, really hard times for people. And I think like traveling into Central London to go and have, you know, a lovely meal is not going to be an option for some people. But I think pubs, I think hopefully they're going to try and do that outdoor area thing that they're talking about doing and continuing that. So they block the streets in Central London, and so pubs and restaurants can have that outdoor space, which is great for summer. But then when winter hits, you know, what's going to happen? But I think, you know, at the end of the day, we are in the UK, and people love to support, and they love a beer, and they love good food. And, you know, I think everyone will still try and support as much as they can, you know. And I imagine bring out the eat out scheme again, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, just want to have a pint in Spitalfields, then at the Harp, then after want to go in Soho, then after want to go in Camden, and I don't want to see these places empty, you know.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
You know, like,
it's really sad, you know. Go on. Oh, I think you broke up a little bit there, Gabs.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, you're also a DJ, right? So you have not just interest in terms of the pubs and the places where you can get the beer, but you also been working a lot with, you know, this kind of like venues. Are you gonna go DJ out again, or is it gonna take even longer than pubs? What do you think?
Well, of course it is. I mean, the nightclubs, I think it was June, with the roadmap, you know, at the very earliest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird, like not being able to DJ and not doing that. Me and my fiance Paul, we did Friday night raves from the living room during like lockdown 1, which was so much fun. But it's nothing like, you know, playing to a crowd and getting, you know, their reaction and that whole like back and forth thing. And I miss it, I miss all that.
I really do.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. Well, again, I want to be positive. I want to believe that we're going to go back to our, beloved normal life, whatever it is. And like, I want to see Orbit's next chapter. I want to see the tap room. I want to see all the beautiful beers that you're going to brew in your place. And I want to see you DJ again. And I would just want to be in a pub, busy pub on a Friday night, see you coming up and again, just being like, yeah, that's what I want to see again as soon as possible.
Give you a big hug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a couple of really exciting beers coming out, actually.
It's your
we've
stage.
got a rhubarb sour. Okay, we've got a rhubarb sour, and I love rhubarb. And there's the Yorkshire Triangle in the north. And it's forced rhubarb. And how they force the rhubarb is they have it in candlelight, and you can hear it pop. And it's incredible. So we've got some forced rhubarb from the Yorkshire Triangle, and we've got this incredible rhubarb sour coming out. And then shortly followed by one of my favorite beers, which is the 24-hour Party Pilsner. So it's a 3.3% low ABV Pilsner, but it's got like the body and the depth of that beer for the percentage is really good. And I love the name, 24-hour Party Pilsner.
It's perfect. So you can have it every time. Okay, I like it.
Yeah. But can I just go back actually a little bit? Because someone just mentioned in the comments, there's some incredible female brewers in this industry as well that maybe don't get the recognition they should. Or, Sophie Durand is absolutely incredible at Burnt Mill, producing some brilliant beers, and a lot of them are gluten-free because I know she's celiac. And we've got Jago as well at Wildcard. There's just a lot of just incredible women in this industry to shout about. So, yeah.
Well, you did well. This is the right week. This is the right situation. Super, super supportive on all of these kind of experiences. So absolutely brilliant. And Sarah, we can keep talking for hours, and I know, but I always promised that I wasn't going to go too far after 40 minutes.
Over.
But you made me drunk, you made me happy, and you made me super enthusiastic about all the things that are coming. So this is perfect.
Amazing. Man. And I can't wait to see you and actually have a drink with you and with everyone.
Yeah, I want to see Chandru, please. Everyone.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh God.
Shall we say that we're gonna see each other whatever is gonna be the right time, and then we're gonna enjoy it, and in the same time, just wishing everyone a beautiful evening if possible. Shall we?
Everyone a beautiful year, a successful, healthy, and happy year.
Perfect. Well, it's been a pleasure. Guys, have a look tomorrow as well. The live stream, again, check it out, all of these beautiful beers. You may gonna end up to have Sarah in your beautiful local, in your beautiful place, and checking out all the events that she's gonna make. And thank you again. Have a good food, have a good beer, and enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gabs. Bye.
Pleasure.